All right, so maybe we can start with the monthly reports, right, Jan? And we can start with the same order, the order of creation with the focus group. I think Ubio was the one responsible for this monthly report. Ubio, can you speak and tell us a little bit about what has been happening with the focus group?
I was just wondering, by the way, the last time we also had that a link to the sheet where all the monthly reviews were written. Do we have that link somewhere?
We have it in the community website, but I'll
Yeah,
share it
is it
here in
there?
the chat as well.
Okay, then I'll get it there because I was just in the meeting. I didn't see too much, but maybe I was looking at the wrong place.
All
Uh,
right, I think Ubio is not here. Benny, are you here? Would you like to present the report?
I'm not really prepared for it, to be honest. I thought the monthly one Ubio was doing, so I've been working
Yeah,
on the
I'm trying to get the.
there he is.
Yeah, I'm here. I was trying to get my screen and all of that ready. So
All right, all
so
right.
should we do it without that? Is that okay? Or
Yeah, it's okay. You can do it as a conversation.
but I would still prefer to share. So maybe you give me some minutes.
yeah. By the way, I don't see an all hands for today in the community website. If I filter on all hands, I get no results.
Yeah, I'll check that. As I understand, Ayo told me just added that to the community website. But just share the link in the description, guys, for the circle reports if you want to see and take a look. Um, and maybe meanwhile, Ubio, would you mind if we move forward until you're prepared?
I don't think there's anything to prepare. Just give me sharing, right? That's what I mean.
Can you give share, Jan? You're still the host.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Multitasking here. Where's Ubio? Ubio, where are you? Ah, there. Yeah, you made a sound. Now I got you. Make co-host. There you are. And I'll make you host again, Rafael.
All right. Okay, yeah. Hi everyone. So from the focus group, we highlighted two decisions and discussions and insight that we've been in talks with for the past 1 month. So we would like to highlight it and probably see how all of this is moving. Okay, so like we already identified in the last call, we've been discussing what the future of the focus group would be and could be. So I'll just write it here. We are still iterating on possible directions for the focus group. One outstanding direction we have had in this month is not only becoming a sounding board for the deep funding team, but to the whole deep funding circles, work group, and otherwise, right? So here we're trying to see, we are seeing the possibility of extending what we are doing with the team as well to other circles, work group, and otherwise. What we're seeing in this direction is that maybe soon we should be circles should be able to contact us and come have discussions on possible strategies, intentions, and stuff that they're also intending to do, and then let us as well give advice on this as well. So not only doing this for the deep funding team, but doing this for the whole circle. The second one we want to highlight is outcome from round 5 work group. We have had an in-depth discussion with Rafael, who presented the outcomes from the round 5 work group discussions and the potential changes that will be made. On our part, we noted that the changes were a lot, the timeline is too short, and there is a need for proper community engagement and feedback before enacting those changes. Right, so this was some key stuff that we did in the past month trying to advise the deep funding team on how we felt the outcomes of what the round 5 work group is, and the possible what we felt about the changes, the timelines, and the approach we also think should be taken for proper engagement as well. So yeah, those are two key points we would like to highlight from our from the focus group here. And yeah, thank you everyone for that. We'll attend to any questions that may come up.
Thank you, Rubio, for sharing. If anybody has any questions, just raise your hand. If not, I guess because we have a packed agenda for today, we'll keep moving to try to not take too much of your time. And as such, just following the order we have the review circle now. I think here for the review circle, we'll be having Slate or Sukran Spice, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Can I have the screen sharing access?
You should. Can you try to see if you have it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, is my screen visible? All right.
Yes.
Okay. So hello everybody. So from the review circle side, for the month of September, we covered multiple things. I'll just go one by one on each of them. So the first thing was that it was an initiative seeing the round 5 changes that we started the collection of the reviewers' main expertise data, and also if in case they have any sort of subdomains to their main expertise areas, then we collected that information so that it can be implemented following the round 5 changes. So this was the first one, and it was mainly focused upon the round 5 changes. And the second one was this is related to the milestone deliverables that get submitted by the awarded teams. And in the month of September, we audited and approved 18 milestones. And this number is irrespective of the ones getting rejected. So 18 audited and approved milestone deliverables so far. The third one is reviewers and coordinators' insight and experiences from the round 4, and also for the past year. So in order to incorporate the data collectively in our half-yearly report and the presentation, we collected the information and the insights and experiences from the coordinators as well as the reviewers, and yeah, basically incorporated that insights and experiences in our half-yearly report, and it's also presented there as well. So yeah, that's all from the review circle side.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Slate. If anybody has any questions, just raise your hands and feel free to engage. If not, I guess we'll move to the next circle in terms of reports. And in this case, it will be the event circle itself. I think I will not share the screen, and I'll just give you all a quick update. I think there are three major points where we were working this month. One of them was to start thinking about ideas to improve this town hall. So we started with discussions with the team from improvements, gathering ideas of what we should do. Also had some discussions with the focus group and itself. So big thanks to Vanny and Ubio to gather some of their insights in terms of improvements. And we already started implementing some things on the town hall, such as the calendars and registrations that will provide us with metrics and data to work with in the future. For the second point, there was, of course, the official launch of the community website with all the updated content about deep funding, about events. Of course, it's still the minimum features, but you can already, for example, book slots for events such as the town hall or anything else. And of course, in the next town hall, we'll look to get some feedback from your side, from the community, about what about the website itself, what you think is missing, what could be better. And that will be very important because we intend to keep improving it. And finally, we start a little bit to work with on the regional town hall side to get some clarity, some goals, some guidelines, and create a structured framework. For this work, we've been having discussions internally with the team, but also discussions with the deep funding team and with the LATAM town hall that is here represented with Guillermo. And we also started creating a channel for closer communication with the LATAM Town Hall, and hopefully together we can build a good framework for more circles to join and for us to start expanding even more. That's all on our side. And now we can move forward, unless somebody has any question, to the operations circle. For the operations circle, Rojo, or Victor, right?
I can start and perhaps Victor can continue from there. So for this month, I think we have a couple of main things to kind of talk about. I would say the first thing is we are about to host our alpha version of the operation system. I'm currently talking with the DevOps team from SingularityNet and just taking care of the funding business as well. So basically talking to them to see how we can host the app efficiently and everything. Once it is hosted, the defunding team, which is Rafael, Jan, will have access to it first. Then we will start rolling it out for the review circle coordinators, because the use case that we have now is mainly for the review circle. We have a couple of other features that are currently actively being developed. We will add, for example, streamlining the payment operations and all these things. So we'd like all of these things to be kind of put in one place so that we have less confusion and less bureaucratic processes, let's say. That's for that. I remember last time you guys requested a demo. I couldn't do it. I have it on my computer now. Maybe later on I can show it, or now how. Maybe after I finish, you can say if you want to see it now or later. There is also another thing. So we have our second version of the database. So we started this database that is currently kind of powering the review system and also some of the payment systems. And this is getting basically updated to match what the features that we want to build in terms of web app and all these kind of things. That one is currently under heavy auditing. We don't want to have any mistakes that will basically make us stop operations for a week or something like that. So we want to avoid problems as much as possible. So we're doing current development testing and also just auditing. Different people are auditing the same things, just making sure that everything is okay. One other thing, that's the documentation part, which is the defunding playbook, or it has different names at this point. Maybe we can agree at some point on some name. But basically the documentation for all circles and these things. I have been looking at different toolings basically to kind of make it easier for us to collaborate on this documentation and not have one person basically control the editing process. There is a lot of things to optimize. One of them is cost, because we don't want to end up with basically a huge bill for every month. In the same time, we want to make it easy. There are a couple of options. I looked at Obsidian. There is Notion. There is a couple of other open source. I personally prefer open source, but I believe maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. But I think as long as it's accessible and budget friendly, perhaps we can agree on that. And maybe that could be a discussion later on. I don't want to make this too long. And I will pass it on to Mayor. Perhaps he can talk about the last point. Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Roger. Okay, the last point is more like an overview matrix for each of the circles. So we worked on this overview matrix and all. And yeah, it's something that I'd love to present, but maybe I'll leave it to Jan. Jan really likes it, so I guess he will do the presentation himself. But yeah, there is an overview matrix of what each circle, the amount, the expenses, the hours that each circle has done from January up until June. And that will still continue up until the end of this year and beyond. So yeah, there is that database now, and it's, yep. So that was like the last point.
All right, thank you very much. We unfortunately weren't able to get the rest of the reports. However, I think there are other circles here who could give us the update themselves. For example, we have here the marketing circle. I don't know if it's tomorrow you're you're already taking the lead.
Yes, for sure, Rafa. So I did get more time regarding the report of half a year. So that's why for me it's important, and I take this to state that this is important meeting that I consider we need to have. The half year report from our side, it has been a month of feedbacks. Give me a second, let me show my screen. My main idea is if we are doing something bigger in the future to make a presentation, slides, etc. I think that was a great idea, but now. So you're seeing my screen? Not my WhatsApp, right? Just my Google.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you presenting half year, Mauro, or will you be?
Yes. Yeah, the whole month is pretty similar of what we consider for the half year. That's why I'm sharing both. Is that okay, Rafa? Just to
Okay,
mention that, yeah.
Sorry, let me just, AO, you have your hand up since the beginning. I think you want to say something about this?
Not exactly. Could you enable chats, please? Or is it just from my end? I think only co-host and host can chat now. Or is it just me?
I'll check. Okay, thank you, AO. Ubio, sorry.
I'm just rather concerned why we are having the 6-month presentation now. I think it would be best to just have a brief report first, then we can, even just to tell us a little bit, then probably we can now go into that conversation so that there can be alignment of thoughts. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ubio. The main idea was to show the half-year report is pretty coordinated in the marketing circle with the monthly report. But just to share that feedback. So the thing is that, yes, I can give you the monthly report and we can do after the half-year report and close that.
Okay,
Yes,
so yeah, thank you. It's not that we are not doing it. It's just because we are going to discuss afterwards today still about how to do this. Okay, there are some into this. It's not, I see the work that you did there, and we appreciate a lot that you did this as the others. And we are going to have this, definitely we are going to have, because it's important, okay? It's just because we are willing to realign on the process that we are doing to be more efficient, and also to give some priority, not priority, but also giving some room for something very important, which is the changes for round 5, okay? Perfect. Again, thank you very much for doing that. You, everyone that are working, we are still having this, okay?
Perfect.
If you could
no,
give
as a monthly
September.
report from the marketing circle, we have been discussing exactly that. What has been worked so far, what doesn't work, what we can improve, what it's going to change in round 5. As a metric of success, for example, for us was the number of proposals submitted in the funding. Now there are a lot of changes and a lot of pull that are not happening. So how you keep that measure? If it's good if we have less proposals, how we measure success for round 5. Another thing that we discuss is what is what we want for next year's for the circle. We found some limitations regarding limited amount of people itself. We need more creative profiles working with us. And yeah, the main topic is how to keep the communications still happening, the activities, the newsletter, the post, the communication with the community, etc. But at the same time, doing more stuff. How we can include more. For me, and you may know, it's super difficult when you have a lot of decentralization and no one is tracking what he has been doing or not, if the tasks are accomplished or not, if they are being executed or not. So these are our biggest challenge right now. We are also working on our main idea, and as seeing Rafael here, from here until the end of the year, main focus on the changes of communication of round 5, have people working in this, get more engagement, how to see the more communication and participation with the community itself, and help and focus on the community events. It's an idea that we have. For example, Rafael participation in the summit. This time is the main idea to give an institutional help as a deep funding, as a brand. This is something to discuss to these community events. The same with the hackathon that I think the team is leading. I know there is some information that we are lacking of, but the main idea is that the marketing team can help in an institutional way to all these different community events that are happening for this and for the next years. I know that the marketing initiatives pool is not happening anymore, but maybe in the RFPs, and be the marketing circle the one that also help them to do the event, but at the same time to communicate internally to the community. The event and the host is to communicate externally what deep funding is, but it's important also to show what activities are doing internally to our community. So that's something we are working. We want to build with Rafael. We have a meeting scheduled also for today, and that's something that the circle has been working on. So the main topics were how to make changes, the communications, how round 5 success looks like, how to help to these event organizers, and for sure the graphic videos, every resources that you ask has been for to Lucas that he delivers to you. So that's all from our side, and I will wait for the half-year reports with a lot of excitement.
Thank you, Maro. Thank you. Then we are just missing the Dev Outreach Circle. Andrea, I see that you're here. Do you want to give some words, share some updates, or are you not prepared and it's better for us to move forward?
Hi, Rafael. Yeah, I was waiting for Gabriel's document, but I couldn't receive it. So I don't know if it is possible to do it next time.
Well, maybe we can just share general updates while Gabriel updates the document. So I'll just highlight a few, if that's fine. Andre?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So I think few updates from the Dev Circle, Outreach Circle in the past 1 month. We've got, okay, so our plan was to get the hackathon to have a mini hackathon by September. That was actually our goal. Unfortunately, or fortunately as well, we couldn't get it done. But I think it opened us, that failure opened us a lot to a lot of stuff, right? That we couldn't have seen if we did not take the step, right? So one of such was the fact that it enabled us to realize that it's one thing to upload a project, and it's another thing for the projects to be ready for use. So despite the fact that the project is onboarded to the marketplace, the the founding entity may not be ready for it to be used because they still have things that they're working on, which was a situation that we found ourselves in. So that was the first situation that we encountered. Second was that it also pushed us to start analyzing all the projects that are currently onboarded on the marketplace to see which one is fit for use for a hackathon. And we are beginning the process of contacting the owners of this project so that we can see which of the projects that we can utilize for the hackathon. So yeah, it was we would quote unquote say it's a failure that we could not get the hackathon done, but it's a success because it opened us to what truly happens in the marketplace and what is and how to utilize the projects that are there. And whenever we are able to curate this pathway to something successful, then we must have created a path that that will help us in the future. So that's actually from the dev outreach here, right?
Thank you, Rubio, for sharing a little bit, and as well to Andrea. And if there are not any questions or any feedback, or if someone has something, it's a great time to raise your hand, or not if you don't, and we can move forward. Rafael.
Just a quick question to Ubio. Ubio, you are looking for other services on the platform to partner with the hackathon. But for this one, are we still having Kevin's time series or Sibyl project for this one? And you are
so I was trying to not reveal so much information, but Kevin's project has although onboarded, there's a lot of reasons why it cannot be utilized right now. And so that is that's just a summary of it for now. Maybe if we need if someone needs this, we can write an extended explanation for that, but that's just a summary.
Yeah, no, it's
so we're currently looking for others. Yeah,
now it's good. Now it's as information, just to put us in the loop. Thank you.
All right, so maybe now we can move on with the DFR5 proposed changes, right, Rafael? I think you have some words.
Yes. Yeah, just quickly giving my 3 updates because we are also having it. So yeah, we are pushing forward with the data analytics processes. So having meetings and alignments for it from past votings and what we can do. It's a new thing. It's a new person, Israel, that is taking. So he also needs some time to get up to speed before starting giving results. Okay. Recently, 2 days ago or so, I released a vision for the community growth by connecting 3 circles into it, which would be marketing, event circle, and dev outreach. In the all circles channel, I gave the draft for that. It's also supposed for us to be discussing, right? It's not top down. I just gave the kickoff of it. So please go there and make your inputs, and especially those that are the coordinators of each circle or members, giving your perspective. And actually we can change everything there from the strategy or vision perspective. Okay. It was more to give this starting. And the third big thing update would be the changes or suggested changes for the round 5, which I am willing to talk to you more in depth, but also quicker than the town hall. Rafael, can...
Yes. All right. Do you need anything from me, Rafael? Are you
Yeah,
going
no,
to...
I am already able to share.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, as mentioned, I'm going to go quicker than the in town hall. Town hall, I explained about the work groups. Where we got the feedback from the community, 114 answers from different stakeholders in different moments, in different languages, English and Spanish, and so on. But we still need and want to have feedback from the community after we got this first list of suggestions, and also from the all circles, or the circles, which are mainly you. I'm going to start from the end here, okay, to give some perspective to you on how I envision the next steps to it. So until October the 3rd, we are going to get feedbacks from the form that you can see here, the link. We have this form where people can jump and make their give their impressions and also contribute with content for it. I also wrote a blog post, which is in it's live in the deepfunding.ai website, and you can go there. If the slides are not enough, you can go there and check and double check the information. Of course, you can also reach out to me or the work group members for us to give explanations or more information, okay? The second step would be the assessment on the feedback by all circles and deep funding. So we would get back and say, hey, these are the feedback that we received from the community, to the call here, the calls, town halls, and also in the forms. Then we would adapt with the suggested changes with the feedback, right? We would assess and say, this is interesting, let's bring, and so on. But using the all circles as this, let's say, assessment board for the changes in the changes, okay? Then we would give a presentation of the final version via proper channels. It can be town halls, it can be blog posts, it can be, well, other ways of doing it. I don't want to to define this now. We can define this together, and the expected time frame, it's in between 1 and 2 months for us to have this and then start the real round. It was quicker, as Ubio mentioned. We had the first discussion with the focus group, and it was too fast. And yes, perhaps it's not perhaps, indeed it was too fast. And now we are willing to have more contribution, and also considering the amount of changes and being structural changes, it would impact too much. So it's good to have, even for the community, to absorb the information during this discussion period. Okay. Okay, so getting back to the changes itself, let me see here. Let's put as a slideshows. And let's reduce here. Okay, so changes, implementations, assumptions. So we have some assumptions here, like the work group discussed and analyzed each of these changes in depth, right? This happened, not an assumption. But the assumption is that we are going to have the community feedback during these 2 weeks that started last week. No strong or valid objections as consensus, then we are going to have this round starting with these changes, right? They are going to be implemented as well in both in a technical, as soon as we manage to implement in a technical perspective, for instance, portal adjustments that we have to have for submission or other technical issues, but also, not mainly, but also very impactful is the review process. As you are going to see, we have a lot of changes in the review process here, considering and based on the feedback that the community gave, especially on the quality. So we are going to need some time to put this review process on track to make it properly, okay? Going forward, the first change that we are suggesting would be the pools for the proposals. We are used to have 4, 5, even more pools during the rounds. And now we are suggesting for us to have only 2, because we want to focus on the purpose of the deep funding, which is onboard quality services on our SNET decentralized marketplace. Okay, it's not that it's not important to have the other pools, but we were also missing the point and giving too much resources from ourselves, which are not that much, into other different pools that brought problems in the core of our purpose, the AI service. The name itself, it's already a change from new services to AI services to be more clear to the community and proposers. Hey, it's not a new project. It's not something with AI that we are doing. We want to have services to be onboarded on our marketplace. And these services can be developed from scratch, adapted for onboarding to the marketplace, the previous existing services, connected to onboarded projects to consume services. This is very important as well, and we want to give a lot of focus here. If we have projects already or services already onboarded, you can come and consume, and we are going to fund the project or the proposal, right? This is very important as well to generate that consumer market that we need. It's good to have a lot of good services on the marketplace, onboarded on the marketplace, but if we don't have consumers for it, it's not going to get to the point where we want to be. And also, we are opening for proposals that are willing to improve existing services already. So for that, we are also probably having, we had already some proposers willing to improve existing services. The framework for this, it's debatable. If that service is open source, you can go there, pick it up and make for yourself and onboard another service. But you can also contact the initial team and propose the changes and join the team for such, right? Also requesting funding for it. The other pool is the ideation pool. It's basically the same that we used to have, and the idea is for us to provide funds for teams that are not quite experienced or quite sure about the scope of their project or the way they are going to deliver it, for doing so, but doing with a fund. It's not as big as for an AI service. It has a max cap, a smaller one, but we are going to now be more thorough on what we are requesting from the ideation proposer, which would be a marketing research. You can have the best idea, technical idea for your project, but if it doesn't have a market, it's, again, as I mentioned, it's not good enough, right? We have to have this marketing research or market research. Financial planning, for you to be aligned with the needs of the project and not incur in problematic situations that can lead even for you to stop, or for the proposer to stop the project in mid-flight, in flight. Technical overview, the most common one, and also for the onboarding process on our marketplace. It's very personalized, let's call it like this. So you have to understand and know how to do it and potentially discuss with our internal team to get more information on it and not get by surprise on how to do it and how to perform this important step. For the former pools, marketing, tooling, RFPs, RFP design, and so on, we still want to have, and we have to have, it's very important. We don't want to have only technical stakeholders or projects involved. We want to have also this perspective on a more social dimension. So, but we are going to go in a different way here. Again, for giving the focus in our purpose, we are bringing marketing tooling to the RFPs. And why is that? For some reasons. One is, it's not that the community are not able or competent enough to say, hey, deep funding program and community, you need this in the marketing side. We know you know also, but we as the developers of the strategy, we that are dealing on a daily basis with the situations and problems and challenges, we should have be more directive in the way we are going. Not that we are not getting feedback from the community towards this, we are, but we should be also able to say, hey, this is more specifically what we need, and not that broad that can bring anything into it, as we saw for past rounds. Yeah, so the RFP is going to be designed and developed by us. But if the community or a team or a community member believes that they know better, which might be the reality, the truth, they can still go there and say, hey, I have an idea for an RFP in marketing, in tooling, so I want to create this RFP. So they are going to go through an ideation process for or an idea process for the RFP to get proposals from the community and potentially from itself. Okay, this way always open to the community and not only in the idea part, but also in the execution part of it. This way, we believe we are going to cover the need of deep funding, which is to be more focused and put our resources in the right place, but also still giving the community the opportunity to be part and make an impact the ecosystem. Okay, and this is for our marketing, our tooling, miscellaneous, wherever you wanna bring your innovative mind. Please join us into this. Okay, as I start and to show the process as an example, for instance, we are going to, as Rafael mentioned here, we are going to have the RFPs, the RFP for the regional town halls. Okay, Rafael is in contact, for instance, with the Latam town hall team, which is giving feedback on their experience, which is very important for us also. For them, we are going to write this RFP and give to the community for proposals around the world. And then, well, many discussions, right? Are we sticking to the right or specific regions? Are we going to be wide, or how is it going to be? This is under the event circle for writing this, along with the marketing and devs outreach. Okay. Yes, please. So if you have ideas that you want to implement or be funded, and it's not under the AI services pool or ideation, let's go through the RFP creation. Any questions at this point?
There is a question from Vanny in the chat, at least.
Okay, Vanny,
You see the
would
chat?
you like to? Okay, let's see.
She can't unmute. I'll just. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, do proposals in the ideation pool still need to demonstrably lead to a later proposal? Yes, yes, definitely. It's because as I am talking about changes, sometimes what is the current is not in the slides, but yes, the main goal is to be at the second in a second moment in the AI service pool. Okay, Jan?
Yeah, more question on the process here. I was wondering, do you already have feedback since the last town hall? Because I think a number of us have already seen and heard about these changes. I was mostly very interested in if there is already feedback from the community here. Would that also be part of this presentation, or
No.
are you going to do
No.
that another time?
No, it's about presenting for the all circles, because town hall has sometimes a different audience from the all circles.
Okay,
Even
then
though it's
if I may be so free to make a suggestion, but do with it as you like, is to go through it a little bit quicker so that we might have some time to discuss it after your presentation.
the idea was this one, but sometimes it's tough.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I know.
In there.
Yeah, I will try. I will try to be quicker. And by the way, I will show here already some changes that we did from the last town hall. I didn't specify, hey, these were the feedback, but I already made in the presentation. Okay, Ubio.
Yeah, just a quick one here. Maybe I'll reserve the comment after. The process of ideation for the RFP, how is that going? Yeah, can the community do that now? Yeah, what's the position of that? Because I think it relates a lot to how I'm going to view what was presented, like my opinion on this change already.
When we are releasing it, it's going to. Okay, it's going to be in parallel, happening in parallel. Today, no, because we are still on it's still ongoing work as the changes itself are also. Rojo?
Quick question, Raf.
Yeah, Mauro had hands up.
No, it was to ask if the slides that you are sharing will be able to all of us.
Yeah, it's shared in the community portal already, and also in the blog post that we are releasing, and we are going to have the marketing circle making this blog post and slides and book and forms for feedback and etc.
Perfect.
Okay, making the awareness. Rojo.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question, and this is pertaining the review process. So when it comes to the new AI services and ideation, I think we have like kind of an established process. Maybe that could be better. But when it comes to RFPs, it is quite odd for me that there is a certain, let's say, one person or group of people who is designing the RFP, but when it comes to reviewing, they are detached from that process. Is there something coming new towards this kind of reviewing process, including the designing group, let's say?
Yeah, well, I would answer, but better having Jan here.
Yeah, I think we should not put too much time to the RFP process in this meeting. I would be happy to talk about that for half an hour. And basically, we are working on a community-driven ideation process for the RFPs. That is still in the works. A lot of things need to be done there still. That will, my guess is, take at least 3 months or something before we have that out in the open, but that's just a very rough guess. So there will be the real community driven RFPs, etc. What we did in the previous round was just a small kickoff, like using the round for having these ideas, but we have a whole new process about that. But I don't want to bore you right now about the whole process on RFPs. I'm happy to do that any other time. Just ask me, or we'll have a meeting, or I'll do it in a meeting. But let's focus right now on the deep funding rounds.
Yep. Thank you. So next next change would be the proposal submission. We have different categories. We are building a matrix where the proposer will tag his proposal in one of these categories. And why is that? Because we are going to give or to designate that proposal to one reviewer. And the reviewer will have the background, the specific skill, which is an expert reviewer, to judge or to assess or to coach that particular proposal. Okay, so these are the technical categories that we are having: NLP, computer vision, forecasting, reinforcement learning, data science and analytics, and neurosymbolic AI. So we are going to have reviewers, expert reviewers in these fields of AI. And when you are a proposer, you are going to say, I am a computer vision proposal. So one of those computer vision expert reviewers will receive your proposal. And here is another big change for it, right? We are going to have end-to-end coach from the expert reviewer to the team. When it received, they are going to go through the eligibility review and all the process until the onboarding. And after the onboarding, they will also keep the contact as a service. Okay, so after it changes from project to a service, the coach will still be there. And that will bring more quality to the milestone reviews, also the eligibility review and expert reviews, because they are more aware about what they are. The expert reviewers are more aware about what they are doing and knows the history of it. But we are also going to have categories, industry categories, which are 15, to make it easier for the voters to go, I work with agriculture, so I'm going to the agriculture category in order to read that and give my votes, right? Instead of reading about proposals in gaming. And this goes towards the quality that we want. We took 3 main points: quality in proposals, improve quality in proposals, quality in reviews, and quality in voting. So we are here with these changes. We are aiming for these 3. This is the first, not the first, we had others, but we also have here a feedback already from the last town hall into these changes. Initially, we only had the categories here, but members of the community said, hey, where is, it's going to be only technical, this review? Don't we have a more, what about the market and other issues, culture around the project and etc. So we are also bringing marketing experts as reviewers that they will be able to give their scores in the proposal, as we are going to discuss in the next change, which is the process of reviewing itself. Okay. For the until now, we only used to ask milestones. Hey, what's the deliverable of this milestone that we are creating? We are suggesting to also have the success criteria for that deliverable in the milestone. That will bring the team to be more. Sometimes the team propose the word because they want to be voted, right? But when it comes to the deliverable, it's not quite exactly what they proposed in their proposal. It's let's say it's more humble than the original idea. The success criteria will make or will bring the teams to stick to what they promised. So if you promised this as a success criteria, when we are reviewing in the milestone review, you are going to need to deliver that criteria. And the criteria, success criteria, will be discussed during the submission period with the team, in between the team and the expert reviewer. Remember, the expert reviewer is the same that are going to go through all the steps and phases, including the milestone review. So the expert reviewer will check and say, okay, this success criteria that I told them to put gave quality to the proposal project, but also gave easier time for them to review it. That's the second change with sub changes into the proposal submission. Any remark, question? Do we have questions here?
I am a little bit confused between the expert review that you mentioned now and the expert reviewer, let's say, from the proposal review process, which wasn't necessarily from the review circle. Are those two different, or are they combined into one?
It's going to be the same. We are going to have the reviewer going from the beginning, the start of the process, until the end. That means that if Rojo received project A, it was designated to Rojo. Rojo will do the eligibility review, the expert review with other reviewers. This part here we are going to discuss. Then the milestone review and the entire process until the onboarding. Okay, it's going to be linked. And we have here that later you can read more about it in the documentation that we have. But for instance, this is good because if I want to receive more hours of tasks, I'm going to put a lot of effort in the beginning to make that proposal a good proposal that can be voted. So we are raising the bar here, right? Because I want to have this proposal being selected and having it for me to review the milestones, and later when it's a service already, and so on. So we are creating this engagement process instead of taking from this phase to one member of the review, and the other that they not necessarily connect properly, right? So we are creating bonds here in between the reviewers and the teams and proposals. Anyone else? Rafael, if you could please check the...
Yeah, there is a question from Rubio.
Okay.
How does this affect the future of the review circle?
It's going to improve it, right? Because now we are going to have more... Can we jump to the next change? Because the next change will talk about the review process itself, and then it's probably been more clear in this sense here.
Maybe
okay,
can I also ask you a question, Rafael? So the marketing experts just enter in one specific stage of the process. They never follow the entire process, right?
They are going to be in the expert review process.
Just, okay.
Yeah, the expert review phase.
Okay.
It's about the scoring, okay? But here is the thing. It's because we have many things working in parallel. I am releasing soon a questionnaire or survey for the awarded teams to understand how deep funding can support their services after. We are not only aiming for now the development of it. We want to understand how we can support them. For instance, Rubio brought that one of the projects are not in that phase yet. But why? It's technical issue, or it's because they didn't reach the market before to understand their market, and so on, so on. So the marketing experts here might also work in that front, right? Hey, how can we bring more and create this platform strategy for have consumers and services in need? So it's all in the same pot here. More? No. Okay, so Ubio, if this don't answer you, if this it's not answering you, let me know. Okay. We have the third change, which is expert review and review process. So we talked about the coaching process end to end, the proposal distribution as well. The reviewer selection, it's going to be the first impact that we are facing here. We are going to aim for a body of experts that have experience in peer reviewing, because again, the quality that we want to have, right? The other impact is what we said before about the categories that we are going to have. It's not, oh, I am a technical person, I am a business person. So we had only these two categories because we have different pools. And then what? You are a technical person, but you have no idea. You might be, you might have a background in computer vision, but are you good in time series, for instance? Are you good in neurosymbolic AI, for instance, right? So we have to have a better structure and background of the reviewers into it. Important to say that we are in contact and requesting the reviews, the current reviewers to fill a survey or a form with their background exactly for us to assess the current reviewers, check if they can fit here in this new framework, and if not, for us to understand how we can improve their, if it's the background of, if we can have them in other parts of the process or even of other circles or something in this direction. Okay, that's very important to mention. So the review the review selection is the first big impact, and then we have the gated review process, which is during the round itself. First, eligibility review. The eligibility review will be given by the expert reviewer that is with the team. So it's a back and forth conversation. It's a coach, right, for the team. It's a coaching process as it is here. Then we are going to have the phase of, and the eligibility review might cut a team, right? If they don't attend and they don't want to change, as the coach is saying or directing, it might end in a cut of the proposal before the next phase, which is the expert reviewer. The expert review will be very similar to what we have now, but again, we are going to have a better categorization and so on. And the scoring, which will also comprise the marketing reviewers, the experts here, it's going to be 80% of the score comes from the review process with people, but 20% is also coming from ChatGPT. We are going to create a standard prompt that are going to review and assess all the proposals that are coming in, and the prompt will be only available after the scoring, avoiding people to create and use the prompt to create their review, their proposal. Only scores, only proposals that have 7 above in this scoring will get to the next phase. Next phase is an interview. The interview is made by a group of reviewers in that expertise area, again, the category, that are going to interview those that are 7 above. And why we are having this? Because we noticed that members or proposers were using generative tools to generate their proposals, but in the end, they could not be or they weren't aware about what the proposal was. So it's easy to write. The paper accepts everything, right? But then are you going to be able to deliver it or not? The interview will do that. So asking the questions to the proposer and knowing that they know what they are doing, they know what they propose, they know about that technology, they know about their concept, and so on. If the proposer can't answer adequately or in a certain level, they are going to be also cutted. We understand that this might be a subjective perspective, even though it's not only one-to-one interview. It's going to be live, recorded, and with more than one expert reviewer that are going to create a report after. And by the way, the expert review process before also, it's going to end in a report, okay, with the remarks about the project, good ones, bad ones, critics, and etc. It's going to be documented. But here we are going to give the whys that proposal is not going further into the voting stage. And the proposer can check and say, no, but this is, I know how to do that. And we are going to have the appeal phase, where proposers can come back and say, hey, no, about the questions that you interviewed me and I was cheated or excluded from the round because of it. Is my perspective, but again, live, okay? Otherwise, it would be very easy to answer these questions. And then we are going to have the final answer. The reviewers or the expert reviewers will say yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down, and only the ones that are thumbs up are going to the vote phase. Pretty similar to what we had before, but we are now testing the full tracks algorithm that was first delivered in the round 4, and also having the analytics team, as I mentioned before in our updates for doing this test. Okay. Well, Ubio, I would like to start with Ubio. This answered your question before previews?
I would want to say yes because I want us to move to
no,
other.
Please. Let's.
So I'm really so I said now that means we are going to be having 2 reviewers for each proposal, because now you're saying we are having expert reviewers and then the market reviewers as well. So that's 2 persons to one idea. The problem I'm actually having with this is
Can I stop you here since it's not the case?
Okay.
Okay. The marketing expert will enter only during the expert review process. The expert review process or phase, it's actually made by more than one person. We have, remember last round, where we had the 5 expert reviewers reviewing each proposal in that group of 20 proposals that we had?
Yeah.
It's going to be the same. So the marketing reviewer will be one of those.
Okay, beautiful.
We are going to have a group of expert reviewers reviewing and scoring. It's not only one. I would like also to get deep dive into this specific part of the process, but again, because of time. But just to rest assured that we are going to have more than one person or 2 people giving the scoring. Okay, it's going to be a group of experts.
Yeah, okay, I think that's fine, that works. And then just to add that when I brought up the concern about the future of the review cycle, I'm also thinking, so are we saying that there is as part of the contractual agreement for the reviewers you are bringing, are they also meant to join the review cycle? Because it also means that so that was why I asked that question.
Okay, now now the review circle will embrace the expert review group, let's say, because we are going to have RFP as well, that we don't want to go there now. It's a mix that is going to be under the umbrella of the expert, under the review circle. Okay, we are improving the review circle in this sense. Okay.
There is a question from Vani in the chat that is, she's asking if only a few proposals over a certain budget will go through the interview process, or if it's all the proposals that will go through that process.
Initially, Vani, yes. When I first put the idea, because the work group Magi, if I'm not mistaken, hey, let's put a cap, because for us to not spend too much effort doing the interview for a 5K proposal, right? The ideation is not going to go through this process, only the AI service. But then I thought we put 50,000 K. Only projects above this would go through the interview. But then I thought, what if I put for 49,099 US dollars as my budget? Then I would be, in fact, asking for 50K, but I would be skipping the process. So then I thought, you know, let's do for all the AI services project. It's good. I have to update here. It's only for the AI services pool. Then I thought, better to have all of them. If I put 5K, it's going to be the same, right? So, well, it might be different. That was my perception. What your perception with this? Because indeed, the interview, it will take a lot of effort from us.
Also, Rafael, how many projects do we have in new AI services, for example, that are less than even 15K? Like
that
not
that
many.
was my yes, that was my next point. Last time we have 210, right? From those, 70 plus came from marketing. Then a bunch of tooling and etc. So for AI services and ideation weren't that much. And of course we want to grow, and we don't want to stick with the idea, oh, it was only 70 projects, so let's count on 70. Because we have here this 3 circles going also, right? And bringing more and more and growing the community. So we are expecting more and more proposals coming, and we want to be prepared. But it's not going to be in the same rate as we were having before, because we are reducing the pools, and that's also counts in the whole framework that I'm suggesting here, and hopefully we are going to get to reduce the effort and not the effort, but the workload. Sometimes it's not easy to bring expert reviewers and give quality if we have a large quantity. Okay, more? Can we go on? Okay. Then we have something that this is pretty new, veto power for deep funding. It's not that we want to have power to say yes or no to a project, but at the same time, it's risky to not have something like this, in the sense that we have a lot of processes, we have a lot of nice things that we are developing and improving round by round. But what if we get to the voting phase, and we detect, or even worse after, and we detect that there is a project that goes against an ethical issue, or for SingularityNet, or a project or proposal that goes against something that we are currently discussing as SingularityNet or deep funding, and they are going to be selected and executed but it goes in a different direction. This is potentially harmful to the program and even to the foundation, mission, and etc. It's not that we are going to be, oh no, I don't like this here, boom. So something that we are going to make here are criteria as well. right? This veto power, it's not about the deep funding staff saying yes or no, you are not going, you're not coming. It's going to abide to certain criteria that we are going to have, specifying which areas are we going to be more on it. And also, let's remember, it's a whole process, and we are going to be involved. So if we detect at the beginning, hey, this is going against, SNET is creating this ASI, for instance, right? So then we have a project that it's proposing something that's not aligned with ASI, just to give you an example here. So it's just to ensure that we are aligned with this alignment, strategic and ethical and etc. That's quick. This one is quick. Questions?
I have a question, I guess. Shouldn't these already be taken care in the eligibility review, or?
Not necessarily. Remember, the JIP funding staff is myself and Jan. And to be over all the projects and do the eligibility review in the sense of things that might happen, it's quite difficult. I'm not taking my responsibility here, neither from Jan. But imagine that expert reviewer, it's not aware about everything that's happening. And even for ethical reasons, it's difficult sometimes to have an alignment. So in this sense, we might have, we are having this point of, hey, this is harmful, right? We are going to filter in the eligibility review, yes. And the coach, the expert reviewer, will give attention and say, this is potentially a problem, get back to us, we are going to be open, right? Hey, I think this might be something that internally has, so he is going to, or she is going to get in touch and say, it's, is there a problem here or not? But again, and from experience, it's hard to get all the points. And if we are doing this, the round will take longer and longer and longer because we need more and more and more time, right? What I am suggesting, or the work group is suggesting here, is that red button that we see in some, I don't know, airports and etc. The roller coaster that boom, hey, we need to stop here, otherwise it's going to create something problematic. And it might be in any time that we detect. Judith.
Yeah. What made you ultimately decide to get rid of the marketing pool, since marketing is such a important aspect of any project or business? Were you seeing that the proposals were not up to your expectations, or are the milestones not getting delivered, or are the milestones not having impact, or what made you decide to get rid of it?
Actually, it came from the, it's partially what you said, it's right. The proposals that were coming in were not up to the expectations of the community and deep funding as well as part of the ecosystem. Also from the marketing circle, and also from voters and feedback that we received in these surveys that we organized. So again, having this RFP process, we are going to be more driven into quality proposals, or having more quality proposals into the pipeline, and with certain alignment.
And from also, the projects that have been awarded, did you see that there's a certain type of project that is, or a certain type of proposals that are doing much better than others? Like, did you see a pattern of what type of marketing proposals are just more valuable than others?
it's more regarding the proposer and the team itself, than the type of proposal. If it's town halls, hackathons, or videos, or the type, it's not quite the situation here. The main issue is with some teams, and also we detected, which is not the problem itself, but we detected that some proposals came with budgets that were too high for what they were suggesting, and they went through, right? So again, it's in the hands of the community, but we have to have a balance, right? We also have the responsibility of take care about the treasure of deep funding, which is the treasure of the community in the last instance, and to avoid seeing and to avoid see something that could be boom. Whoa, why were you giving our funding $100,000 here for a project that was willing to translate subtitles, right? So that's the type of situation that we are also trying to avoid when doing this. First, because it's not it's important, but it's not critical for the program. And second, because when you see something that it was just for this that it didn't happen, a situation like having a big budget for something that wasn't impactful enough.
Thank you.
Okay. It goes in the quality for everything here that we are talking. It goes in the direction of quality, but also has some sort of thinking about we know our limits, right? That's the truth, and we have a lot of limits and a lot of dimensions as deep funding. Community size, the amount of members that we can rely on to execute tasks, and for instance, marketing is very important. It was the second or third circle that we had because we truly believe in marketing and we understand the need, but also the size that this could get. We would spend a lot of effort, more effort and resources, financial resources as well, into something that was bringing impact, very small impact. So we had to at least suggest some different direction here. Communication and inquiry handling, it's problematic, at least before. If I need to make an announcement to proposers, specifically to proposers, right? Because they are a specific set of our community, the proposers that are in that specific round, where even email, sometimes it's not enough. Because the communication sometimes it's supposed to be quicker. And we are creating the Telegram specific, where we are going to put the proposer, the main proposer there, and they are going to be aligned with everything that's happening in that round itself. Dates, if we have some problem, hey, we need to extend the phase here because we faced a problem. Didn't happen before, the 2 rounds before, we were quite in the schedule, but it might happen. So how to communicate properly with these proposers? We are creating the Telegram channel for it, and it's going to be more streamlined. I see here. Okay, Vani, thank you. Number of proposal limits, which is the last one. This came from a lot of moments in the round, during the last round and afterwards, and also from many stakeholders, proposers, reviewers, etc. we noticed that we had low quality sometimes in proposals because proposers were proposing 10 proposals. So how to give the right approach and thought about that proposal if you are doing so much. Along with the fact that some already had proposals or actually awarded projects. Again, taking energy from the project itself into proposals to keep their pipeline going on. So we are proposing this because we want to focus the team to focus on delivering ongoing projects and encouraging them to make it quicker. So if I deliver quicker, I can propose again and again and again. Instead of having 10 projects in 1 month, or sorry, 1 week, 1 year, at the end of 1 year, we want to have monthly proposals and projects being delivered. Just an example here. Of course, this is not 1 month is not enough, but just to give the perspective. And we are going to have again faster project execution. So that's why. And why in total? Because if you have, we have a limit of 3, you have 2 already. If you propose, you have 2 awarded projects. If you propose 2 in the current round, you are going to have, you are going to potentially bring 2 more, and then you are going to stay with 4 projects, right? So in total, you can only propose and have as an awarded project 3, okay? That's the suggestion. We can discuss the number as well, right? That's the situation. Oh, 3 is too few, and if it's a big team, we can have 5. But let's not go bunkers here and propose 20. It should be in a way that people and members and proposers can focus to give it quality in the proposal and in the awarded project. Okay. Well, that's the timeline, but let's jump in a more interesting perspective here. Any thoughts about it? Honestly, the idea was to show the all circles because you are going to participate in the final build of this, and also you are going to be impacted, as we had questions before about, hey, how's the impact it is in the one circle? What's the impact is in another circle, another one, and so on. So no one better than the circle itself to say, this is not good because it's going to bring us more challenges than benefits. And that's why the suggestions are here for your feedback as well. Anyone?
I think people are probably reflecting still.
Digesting and absorbing. Yeah, that's good. Actually, that's good. We have to have this while we are doing it. I'm going to update the slide here.
Judith, you have your hand up?
Yes. So far, I think I really like all of the changes. I'm just wondering, with all the new, I guess with the tighter regulations, do you assume that the process of onboarding people is going to take a lot longer? Like, is it going to be a lot slower process to get things approved if you're making everything a bit stricter and tighter?
You mean for the review circle?
Just in general, for the process from the process of onboarding an AI service to the marketplace. I don't know what the current process is and how long it takes. But if you're saying there's going to be more reviews and it's going to be, we're going to maybe have more interviews and more this and that, do you think it's going to take a lot longer to onboard a service to the marketplace? Or
I guess you mean about the selection, right? The whole timeline.
yeah, the whole
Because it's
timeline.
two moments that we have the final vote and selection, and then we have the onboarding the marketplace. We kind of count. We can count everything, but we can start counting after they start the project and then they having the onboard. The technical part won't change. Perhaps it's going to be better because we are going to have quality proposals, quality blah, blah, and quality higher quality projects, right? And then it's going to get there. But here, with the timeline, it's going to be basically what we had last time, because we still had many things going on as well in that, but now we are focusing better. That's the case. If we had all the pools, then we would need more time. Now that we have less pools, this is nevralgic for the changes. Having less pools, it's really important for the health of the program and the round, actually.
And for the ideation phase, how are you gonna make sure that you're selecting good teams if you don't have any reference of that they've built this, what they're proposing before? Like, how are you gonna
pool, right?
Yeah, for ideation, how are you gonna make sure you get good quality of teams? Because I mean, anyone can claim that they can build something or they have an idea, right? But
it's not that I don't want to have quality teams, but honestly, I am expecting to have teams that they are not that quality team, because the ideation pool, it's exactly for them to improve their processes, background, understanding on the project, but receiving and being subsidized by us. And by the way, the amount that we are funding, it's quite small if compared with the whole thing, right? It's 5K max cap. So the risk is low in this sense as well, along with the number of the projects that we are having or proposals that we are having selected. So again,
basically you would fund the 5K for them to do market research, right? And
no, marketing research too, but also the technical overview, the onboarding process. Oh, how I onboard? I never saw about it. So how is the process? And also the last one, give me a sec.
But if they then, let's say they complete all of this, they do their market research, they have the technical analysis, they have the financial overview. Do they then need to apply in a new deep funding round to take their project to the next level?
Yes.
Or are they automatically eligible to keep building? No.
No, they have to go to the next round and apply as an AI service. And I have to, Vani also asked this, so I'm going to update the slides with this specific information.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Support. Yeah, so yeah, it's here actually. It's ideation pool, supports preliminary stage of AI service pool submission. So it's a preliminary stage. You have to go anyways, you have to go to the AI service pool next round, or we can also frame this. It's you have to propose in the next one. That's a good one. Otherwise, the study that the research that you made, if you wait 2 or 3 rounds, it's not worth anymore. So it has to be in the next one. If you did the ideation in round 6, you have to propose in round 7.
Okay.
Right? You can skip, but up to you.
So basically, you're giving them around 6 months to finish that until the next round.
If we are having 2 rounds per year, yes.
All right.
Okay, Ubio.
Yeah. So I think okay. I just want to start by saying, yeah, I really I'm expecting to hear a lot of other people's opinion as well. So I'm very, like, that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Okay, just to add that if there's something I'm quite concerned as well, is the fact that we also have to keep this whole process not too complicated, right? I'm trying to think of are we going to end up being complicated? Is it how do we get, if we have 100 persons applying and 100 persons coming for interview, that looks a little bit complicated for me. And then I think there are concerns about some people who are not very good with interviews. Some people are very good with just expressing their opinion, and interviews are not their best. So are we probably just gauging these people on a model that is not the best? So I'm just thinking of the whole framework and trying to think, how does it does it rather complicate the situation for us in trying to solve the problem? So this is not a direct response to yes or no. It's just rather saying whatever can be simplified should be simplified. Where I hold the strongest opinion is on the issue of the chat GPT. I think if you ask me, I would say it's not necessary. And I would and then I would want to rather replace that with because what this is doing is we are now removing community engagement, right? I would rather want to see maybe people engaging, also reviewing, but having less weightage than ChatGPT and creating a framework and all of that. I think that's where my strongest dissent is. I think I have a lot of reasons why I don't really agree with the AI creation, because it's taken away from the community response. And I made this statement when I was discussing with Vani. I said, what we needed to do was to remove the weightage and put it more on the expert without necessarily taking the community engagement and feedback, because now I don't think everybody will agree with this last statement I'm about to say, but because the friction is also part of the process, right? So the only thing is that we should not incentivize that. So let's say there's a 20% or 30% weightage for that. So yeah, there will be bias. Obviously, we saw it in the past rounds. There will be bias, there will be frictions, but also it will we cannot remove the fact that there will also be quality contribution from the community as well. So so what I would rather do is to reduce how much that affects the process instead of totally removing that. And also, I would also lean towards not paying people anything for community engagement, but if people engage and maybe do review or maybe community review, whatever that's going to be, there should be a weightage for it and then probably add up to this. But I would prefer that process for a lot of reasons, right, than the AI feedback. And that's just my own opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, no, that's always valuable. But let me start saying that in your own consideration, you kind of contradicted yourself, because I agree, we want efficiency. But then the efficiency of making it simple will bring problems in the quality. And for instance, when you say we would like to have more community involved than ChatGPT, you are bringing the complexity to it, because by having people involved, the community members involved, you are getting back to the complexity, either for tracking, either in the portal itself, that we have to have the right tools to assess and give the score or potential scoring by the community, etc., etc., etc. So I agree with you. It's becoming more complex, but also because we are willing to avoid some problematic points that now when we are talking, oh, it's getting more complex and more complex and more come on, it's too complex. But when it happens, we feel, oh, it's too loose if we don't use this complexity. And now we have problems. And then during the feedback which happened, it was exactly about the lack of complexity. They were not saying that it wasn't complex, but they were giving in the feedback the outcome, the result of not having complexity into it. Other things as well, okay? Not only this. So it's kind of the trilemma that Jan wrote a few weeks ago. We can reduce the complexity.
It as well. Yeah, we referenced it when we're talking like the whole trilemma and all that as well. So I think we all understand the situation we find ourselves. It's just that I still feel putting community engagement and giving it lower weightage, even if it's 20%, for me, it's for the advantage it brings outweighs what the ChatGPT would bring. That's just a suggestion.
Can I say, let me tell you then, my first idea, what was it? It was to have eligibility review done by the community. It was to have in the expert reviewers. It was to have the ChatGPT. It was to have the interview. It was to have the community giving the scoring as well. And then giving up to a certain point arbitrary weight to each of these reviews. And then we would have to each of these scores. And then we would have the final score. Right? That was the idea. But then it was, well, the work group and internally it was, oh no, this is too complex and we are going to write too much and etc. And then we reduced it to the ChatGPT. And so about the ChatGPT that you mentioned, and I can see where are you coming from. It's not because we are an AI organization or community that we are going to have to rely on AI, right? But it can, one of the topics, one of the points here is imagine that I am a team member and I receive a score 2 out of 10 from the expert reviewers. Come on, of course it's not. Then I have ChatGPT giving 1 or 3 or 2. It's kind of also shows, you see, now if ChatGPT gives 8 and 2, then we can debate, right? But it's something that we also have to have in order to avoid some bias into the system, to have ChatGPT doing its more until a certain point, giving it more impartial scoring. And also because we want to improve in a direction and start experimenting some things, because later, way ahead, we might have an LLM done created by an RFP doing the whole process. Why not? It's something, but we have to start from somewhere. But yes, please, by having the form, if you could give more this framework of having the community even voting or scoring, this would be very nice to see. How do you see this? Even if you would like to take the ChatGPT out and etc. And last thing about this, the community still can become an expert reviewer. Of course, we still have to have this selection. Okay, not the same thing, of course, of having the whole community into it. And again, my perspective was, hey, let's have 5, 6 ways of assessing and scoring, and then we will wait. And among them, a lot of community input as well. Rohan?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention a project we worked on, part of the 4 beta pool. And it's not exactly about reviewing proposals, but it was about scoring the expert reviews. And in one of our milestones, we did use AI, and we wanted to compare some of these large language models how they will do against human scoring. What we found, even though we used not very up-to-date models, actually, mainly because they were open source, but what we found is that the correlation between the human scoring and the LLM scoring was very, very close, especially with older models. Right now, if you use ChatGPTs or GPTs 4.0, or if you used Claude or other ones, you would get much better results. And my suggestion is to not use one LLM, but rather use the same prompt in different ones, maybe 3 models, and you can take their average. I think this is a better approach for this.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, first. Rojo as well, if you could please fill the form, because sometimes, because I have to update a lot of sources, so if I update here and forget in another place, it's going to be problematic.
I have it in my task list. I'll do it.
Yeah, please go
Yeah,
to the form and make yes. Thank you. Ayo.
Yes, thank you, Rafael. So Bias answered up at some point. I think maybe he changed his mind. I wanted to speak to the idea that what I see here, I mean, for me, it's 2 things. I'm processing this from the perspective of what this means to the event circle, marketing circle, and maybe dev outreach, for example. If we have quality screening, what screening does is that screening reduces numbers and then improves quality. Yes, right. But numbers are also necessary. So I'm just wondering, I mean, what would have if quality means we take 10 out of 100. At the next round, having 10 quality projects is quite good, but having 40 quality projects is even better. So it means that to have 40 quality projects, we have to have more than 100 entries. I'm just giving proportional examples. So, I mean, so I'm just wondering if there's going to be a proper conversation around the implication of what we are doing on the marketing and the outreach and all of those processes. And of course, I have other thoughts which I will drop in the form. The second perspective is how this what we are doing now. Maybe it's just me, but I'm sensing a feel of permanence. Like it's feeling like now we found some. Now this is it. All right. I want to think like, yeah, this is something that we have all agreed looks to be better than what we've had before, but there may just be something else. There may just be something better that in future that we'll find out, right? So that's why I'm not dissenting at all or so much. I mean, even when I have thoughts, I'm just like, okay, let's go do this. I mean, what's so wrong about doing this? And then we learn, and then we bring it together. The lessons from 4 rounds can never be up to the lessons from 5 rounds. Can never be up to lessons from 10 rounds. So basically,
definitely. Yeah, no, indeed, what we do every day is experimentation, right? Hardly any of us here are able to say, if we do like this, we are going to have this exact result. Hardly. It's only by experimenting that we are going to be able. But we have experimented before, and we already have some level of understanding of, if we go in this direction, this is going to happen, and so on. About the numbers, we already had a huge drop in the amount of projects that we selected in last round. The previous one was 43 projects, and now we had about the half of the number. So even though it might be because of the complexity that is getting higher, as Rubio mentioned it, But is this something bad? I see perhaps we have to grow the entrance or the door of this pipeline, which is exactly what I am suggesting as a vision for the 3 circles or the growth circle group, the growth circle, the community growth circles, to bring more. Let's make this community bigger. And by having a bigger community, we are going to have more proposals. And by having more proposals, we are going to have more people. Growth circle complex. Yes, Ayo. Yeah, okay. And that's our hub. Yeah. So let's work in this direction. Yes, I hope Mauro, Judith, Rafael, Ayo, Victor, Andrea, Ish, and everybody that's involved there should be focusing in growing the community, and it's going to be natural, organical for us, instead of us paying AdWords or I don't know, articles and etc. To bring more people. We can do this organically. Let's increase the numbers in the community and then having more proposals, ultimately having more onboarded projects. Jan, sorry, we took all the time here, but I think we still might discuss, right, the topics. Ayo, you have your hand.
Yeah, I'll just ignore Ayo.
It was a hold hand.
I think a few people have left already, and that's a little bit unfortunate because the message I had was important for everybody. And I don't want to drag this along any longer. We've been in this meeting for 2 hours, so I'll just keep it very short and basically repeat what I said at the beginning of the meeting. First of all, apologies for any confusion in the messaging over the past week around these health yearly updates. The idea was we would have these health yearly update presentation in Istanbul and remote for those who weren't there. That didn't go through. The whole idea about having health yearly updates and having insights and sharing insights is still very important. At the same time, I felt that this was dragging along a little bit. And I was wondering maybe if we are not putting too much of a burden on many people by forcing people to have this health yearly update and make a presentation out of it and have a discussion on it. So yeah, I have to be honest here that Rafael convinced me that we should lower that burden a little bit on your shoulders, make it a little bit lighter on your shoulders. So as I mentioned at the beginning, you can thank Rafael for that. And yeah, the trajectory that we're on right now is let's first make sure that we have a written version of your health yearly report with insights. For the 4 older circles that have been here from the beginning of this year, marketing, focus group, review circle, and awarded teams. Mayor will supply them with figures, with data about the past year, and I would ask them to also do a retrospective, look back and see, explain what you did and tell us what you learned. For all circles, including those 4, I would love to hear what your plans and expectations are for, well, the next year, the health year that we're now well into. So, and you can go a little bit beyond that if you want. There's no such a strict format. So what are your expectations? What would you like to accomplish? And what I'm looking forward to is that if we do this on a health yearly basis, then every time we can see, oh, this is what we expected half year ago and what actually happened. So maybe something completely different that we didn't see coming happened. Wouldn't be the first time. Maybe something we were disappointed or go slower, but that wouldn't be the first time either. And maybe other things surprise us because they go quicker or better or faster. But either way, it's good to reflect, to have your expectations and then reflect on it later. So I would like us to get into that health yearly rhythm. Also, it would be great content for our community portal. Both to have it for every, but also if a new community member is interested to be part of your circle, and they will see over the past, let's say, 3 health yearly reports, what the ideas were and what actually has been done, then yeah, that will create a story about what this circle is about and what you're doing and trying to accomplish. So I hope that will make it attractive for new people also to join our circles. So on the process side here, well, make it your own. Don't make it too heavy. Ideally, it should be fun. Think about what you want to do together with your circle members. Write it down, your ideas. And then the next step after that, when we have all these reports in, we will publish them and we will determine what the next step is. So I don't want to twist anybody's arm, especially not in this time around. Maybe in 2 years it will be different, I don't know. To do a presentation if you're not comfortable, if nobody in your circle is comfortable to doing a presentation, then we don't have to do it. On the other hand, if some people, Mauro isn't here anymore, but if some people would like to do a presentation on what you've accomplished or what you're planning to do, then I think we can make some room for that. And finally, what I think is that when we have all these updates ready, some questions will emerge from that, and maybe some questions we already have or some discussion topics. So it will not be the end. It's not just bureaucracy, give us that piece of paper and have it done with. The idea is that's an invitation to brainstorming and ideating and sharing. And we will do that in other all hands, but maybe not in the strict format of having 4 sequential 2-hour-long all hands. We'll do that when the time is appropriate for that. So I'm looking forward to a lot of ideation and conversation and discussions based on all your documents and insights. And to be honest, Rafael and me will have to make one as well, but I think we'll also use your planning and estimates to create our bigger picture around that. So that's another reason why we're looking forward to having your reviews. So yeah, I hope by doing this, we make it a little bit lighter, hopefully a little bit more fun. I hope in the end, having those discussions on what can be improved, like the 3 circles that Rafael was already referring to, that could collaborate more closely. Maybe there are other topics like that. I know I have 1 or 2 on my mind that I haven't discussed yet, but yeah, and I hope that will be interesting to all. And nobody will feel pressured into this or intimidated by the things that we are asking. Also, if any time something like that should come up, whether globally or personally, that you're asked by me, by Rafael, a fellow circle member or whatever, to do things that make you personally uncomfortable, that you think are not aligned with your strengths, you're always free to speak up and let us know. My ideal is to have everybody here in these all circles in the position where you can shine and you feel comfortable and you like working. So that's the ideal, and the only way we can do that is by understanding what are the things that you like and don't like. And one of the topics there, I should be very careful now not to speak too long, are long meetings. So meeting like this one, there was another aspect there. Do we really have to have put so much time in long meetings with long presentations, or is there another way to do these things? So I don't have a solution for that. I think it's also important to be together from time to time and hear from other circles what they're doing. So we probably won't be able to escape meetings, and I also think we shouldn't. But also if there are ideas around that, what is the best way to use our time, most effective and the most fun way. Yeah, please let us hear. Also, if you have an idea for a different kind of meeting, which might not be just about work and task, but might be more about sharing and getting to know each other and having just some interesting conversations or activities, we're open for that as well. So, and yeah, high time to close this meeting right now. Thank you for being here.
So,
Thank you, everybody.
right, thank you. Rafael, were you going to say something?
No, I was only willing to send a wave and it raised
All
the
right.
hands.
I
Thank
guess
you,
we'll
guys.
speak about next steps afterwards, Jan, about the calls we had programmed, if we are going to stop them completely, right? Or if we should.
Let's go back to the regular schedule. Let's first collect all these written health yearly reports. Let's have them published. Give also me and Rafael and yourself some time to review them, to read them. I think that will take us at least 2 weeks until we get to the next all hands doing all that. And then let's move this discussion forward to the next all hands. Unless Rafael needs all that time again for deep funding round 5.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
All right. So bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and I hope to
Bye.
see you in the next town hall next week.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
for your
Yes,
patience.
bye.
Thank
Nice
you,
to meet
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye, Rafael.